So you're wondering if the Diablo 4 DLC is actually worth your money, right? Well, I've been grinding through Vessel of Hatred for months now, and I'm gonna break down everything you get, and I mean everything, so you can decide if it's worth dropping that cash. Let's dive in. What you actually get with the DLC. Alright, so first things first, what exactly are you buying here? The Vessel of Hatred expansion gives you 4 major things. Number 1, you get the brand new Spiritborn class. This isn't just another reskin, guys. This is a completely new way to play the game. Number 2, you get access to the Nahantu region. This is a massive jungle area that's completely separate from the base game map. Number 3, you get a whole new campaign storyline that picks up right where the base game left off. And number 4, you get access to new endgame systems like mercenaries and updated progression mechanics. But here's the kicker. Season 9 just wrapped up with some major balance changes, and Season 10 is confirmed for September 23rd. If you're jumping in now, you're getting the best version of this content with all the latest patches and improvements. Now let me break each of these down so you know exactly what you're getting. The Spiritborn class. Deep dive? Let's start with the Spiritborn because, honestly, this might be the main reason to buy the DLC. This class is absolutely nuts. So the Spiritborn is basically this jungle warrior that channels the power of 4 different spirit guardians: the eagle, jaguar, gorilla, and centipede. Each spirit gives you different abilities and playstyles. The eagle focuses on ranged attacks and mobility. You're zipping around the battlefield, striking from a distance. The jaguar is all about speed and poison. Think fast, deadly strikes that leave your enemies bleeding out. The gorilla brings the tank vibes, heavy hits, crowd control, protective abilities, and the centipede, that's your poison and DOT specialist. But here's the crazy part. You can mix and match these spirits. You're not locked into one playstyle. You can combine eagle mobility with jaguar poison, or gorilla tankiness with centipede DOTs. The build variety is insane. The weapons are glaives, quarterstaves, and polearms. The animations are smooth as butter, and the class just feels really unique compared to anything else in the game. The learning curve is real though. Expect to spend your first few hours just figuring out which spirit combinations work for your playstyle. But once it clicks, man, you'll wonder why every class isn't this flexible. If you're someone who loves trying new builds and experimenting with different playstyles, the Spiritborn alone might justify the purchase. Nahantu Region Overview. Now let's talk about Nahantu. This isn't just a small add-on area. We're talking about a full jungle region that's roughly the same size as one of the base game's major zones. Visually, this place is gorgeous. We're talking dense jungle canopies, ancient ruins covered in vines, mysterious temples, and some really atmospheric lighting effects. But it's not just pretty to look at. The gameplay in Nahantu feels different. You've got new enemy types that are specific to this jungle environment. We're talking about tribal warriors, jungle beasts, and some really creative boss fights. The region has 5 distinct sub-areas. The Karrast Undercity with its underground networks, the Torogen jungles with massive tree cities, the Festering Dark where corruption runs deep, the Writhing Mire with its swamp mechanics, and the Temple of the Primes with endgame raid-style encounters. The region also introduces new mechanics. There are environmental hazards, hidden passages, and interactive elements that weren't in the base game. Plus, this is where most of the new storyline takes place, so if you care about the Diablo lore and want to see what happens after Lilith's defeat, you're going to be spending a lot of time here. One thing I really appreciate is that Nahantu doesn't feel like recycled content. It has its own identity and atmosphere that sets it apart from the base game areas. New campaign and story. Speaking of story, let's talk about the new campaign. Without spoiling anything major, the story picks up right after the events of the base game. Remember Neyrelle? She took Mephisto's soulstone and disappeared? Well, that's where this expansion starts. You're following her trail into the jungles of Nahantu. The campaign is substantial. We're talking several hours of new story content with fully voiced cutscenes and new characters. If you're someone who skips dialogue and just wants to get to the endgame, this might not matter much to you. But if you actually care about the Diablo storyline, this expansion moves the plot forward in some pretty significant ways. The story also introduces new lore about the Spiritborn and the history of Nahantu, which adds depth to the world. New systems and endgame content. Now let's talk about the systems that affect everyone, not just people playing Spiritborn. First up, mercenaries. These are AI companions that fight alongside you. They're not just meat shields either. Each mercenary has unique abilities, and you can customize their gear. There are 4 mercenaries total: Raher the Shield Bearer, Variana the Berserker, Subo the Monk, and Aldkin the Demon Hunter. Each one brings different utility. Raher can tank and provide buffs, Variana deals massive damage, Subo offers healing and crowd control, and Aldkin brings ranged DPS with traps. The endgame gets some love too, with new boss fights, updated dungeon mechanics, and additional ways to progress your character. Speaking of progression, we've got Heraldric spells now, which are customizable abilities that you can modify with different infusions, catalysts, and arcana combinations. These give you access to skills from other classes, which is pretty wild. For example, you can give your Barbarian a Sorceress teleport, or add Necromancer Corpse Explosion to your Rogue. The combinations are nuts and completely change how you approach builds. Plus, there's the Rune Words system. You can socket special runes into your weapons, armor, rings, and amulets. These runes combine to create trigger and effect abilities, basically letting you build custom skill combinations. And here's the kicker, runes are also used as currency to craft specific mythic unique items, so there's a whole new economy around them. But here's where it gets really exciting. The DLC adds 2 major endgame activities that are absolute game changers. First up is the Kurast Undercity. This is a timed multi-level dungeon beneath the city of Kurast. You're racing against the clock through 3 different floors, each with unique challenges. What makes it special is the tribute system. You can use these items to customize your rewards. Want specific legendary aspects? There's a tribute for that. Looking for runes? Another tribute. It's basically targeted farming, which is something the endgame really needed. Then there's the Dark Citadel, and this one's huge. It's a cooperative raid-style activity designed for groups. We're talking about 3 different wings, each with unique mechanics and bosses. This isn't just another dungeon, it requires actual coordination and strategy. You need to reach Torment 1 difficulty just to enter, so this is serious endgame content. The rewards include exclusive gear and cosmetics that you literally can't get anywhere else. Here's what's important though. Some of these systems might eventually make their way to the base game through patches. Blizzard hasn't been super clear about what stays DLC exclusive long term. What you miss without the DLC. So what happens if you don't buy the expansion? Let's be real about this. You can't play Spiritborn? That's obvious. You also can't access Nahantu or the new campaign. But here's the thing. You're not locked out of playing with friends who have the DLC. You can still party up and play together in the base game areas. However, you'll miss out on group farming in Nahantu, which has some of the best loot density in the game. And when Season 10 drops, a lot of the community focus will be on the new content. You'll miss out on some of the new progression systems, but the base game still gets regular updates and seasonal content. The real question is, are you okay with potentially feeling left out when everyone's talking about the new content? Because if you're active in the Diablo community, this expansion is definitely going to be a major talking point. Price and value analysis? Let's talk money. Is this thing actually worth what they're charging? The standard edition runs about $40. The ultimate edition with extra cosmetics is around $60. For $40, you're getting a new class, a new region, several hours of story content, and access to new endgame systems. Compare that to other games where $40 might get you a couple of skins and some battle pass levels. From a content perspective, there's definitely value here, but here's my honest take. It depends on how much you're still playing Diablo 4. If you're someone who logs in every day and you're invested in the game, then yeah, $40 for this much new content is reasonable. If you're someone who played through the base game once and moved on, this probably isn't going to bring you back long term. The Spiritborn class alone has given me dozens of hours of new gameplay, and I'm still discovering new build combinations. My playtime has actually increased since the DLC dropped. Plus, with Season 10 starting September 23rd, you're getting fresh seasonal mechanics on top of all this content. The timing couldn't be better. Alright, so bottom line, is the Diablo 4 DLC worth it? If you're still actively playing Diablo 4 and you want new content to explore, then absolutely yes. The Spiritborn class is genuinely fun and different. Nahantu is a well-designed region, and there's enough content here to keep you busy for a while. Especially with Season 10 launching soon, this is actually the perfect time to jump in. You'll have fresh seasonal content plus all the DLC goodies. If you're on the fence about Diablo 4 in general, this expansion probably isn't going to change your mind about the base game. And if you're someone who's moved on from Diablo 4 entirely, I'd say wait for a sale unless you're really curious about the Spiritborn. For me personally, I think it's worth the price. The new class alone has revitalized my interest in the game, and having new areas to explore feels refreshing. Look, if you're part of our Discord community, link in the description, you know how active our group farming sessions have been in Nahantu. The community aspect alone makes it worth it. But that's just my take. Let me know in the comments what you think. Are you planning to pick up the expansion? What are you most excited about? If this video helped you decide, make sure to give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you want more Diablo 4 content, and I'll catch you in the next one. Thanks for watching.